What is up, everybody? We are here on trade deadline day. It is your boys, JL and C-Mag, Connor McGuire. I'm just going to start calling you that. So,
you can call me whatever you want.
here to discuss some of the going-ons in Major League Baseball during this trade deadline. Some of the things that are not going on for the New York Yankees, by the way. We will take you to the 3 o'clock Pacific deadline, 6 o'clock Eastern deadline in the real time zone, since I'm in the fake fraudulent time zone. As you can see behind me, I have my two favorite people, Hal Steinbrenner and my one and only real biological father, Brian Cashman. Yeah, we got a couple hours to go. There's been a lot of stuff going on today, a lot of moves being made. Yankees have kind of fallen asleep here a little bit after they went ahead and got, Luis Garcia Jr. So what are your thoughts right now? I mean, what did you expect going into this? What is your grade of the Garcia deal? And then, we'll go from there.
Oh, man, where do I start? I mean, heading into this deadline, if you had asked, if we were talking about what our biggest needs were, I don't think either one of us would have started with, we really need a lefty platoon first base bat. That would not have been top of either of our lists. We would have said we want to add some thump to the offense, for sure. And so I suppose that accomplishes that in some way. But I really, for one, we'll get into this, but I really expected a lot more in terms of shoring up the bullpen. I'm a little bit shocked that it's really been nothing but an addition by subtraction with moving to Duvall, which I'm certainly supportive of, as I believe.
And Jake Bird.
And Jake Bird. And maybe there's more left to fall, more moves left to be reported. We certainly got 2 more hours before it's, dead and done with. But for where we're sitting right now, I'm kind of at a loss for words in terms of, it's not just about not getting the big fish, but just the lack of activity around even the minor moves you kind of come to expect this time of year, with a bullpen that is the worst we've seen. Now, granted, there are a lot of numbers you can throw at me and say, hey, actually they're outperforming or they're doing their job. But if you watch the games, you kind of feel like, hey, when things come down to the wire, and we're playing in October, I defy anyone to tell me that our bullpen's ready to roll. So if the answer ends up coming from surprises or people coming from getting called up, maybe there's still hope there. But once you turn the page in the deadline, there's really not a lot of serious expectation of improvement, and that's an area where we certainly need it if we want to compete. And that's granting or assuming we're all we're going to get all of our guys back that have been injured, and be in a position to make a run. Even if we assume all that is going to be in place, I don't think where things stand today, you can be happy with the pieces you have in the bullpen. And it feels like a huge missed opportunity, not necessarily going out and getting Mason Miller, but even just a few ancillary complementary moves, man. I feel like we are asleep at the wheel in a way that I feel like a lot of people say we are.
So you can guarantee you get to the World Series and then try your fucking luck with the Dodgers. And what we're seeing right now is the Yankees a little bit reluctant to give away some key minor league pieces, to get the guy they quote unquote want. We do have Luis Garcia Jr., which, like you said, first base platoon lefty bat, which is probably what he's going to be. Goldschmidt will get most of the work against lefties. We know Luis Garcia Jr. is not good against lefties, but he does have one of the best slugging percentages in all of baseball. So when he is in there against right-handed pitching, he will be a very formidable option, which is what I'm pretty excited about. So, it's a lineup that right now lacks depth. Obviously missing Stanton and Aaron Judge. But those guys will be back soon. Cody Bellinger will be back soon as well. So, the cringy cliche thing everyone says is, getting back our hurt guys is like making huge deals at the deadline, which is fine. And, there is a little bit of truth to that. And when those guys do come back, this will be a very formidable roster. So it's not like, it's not like we're the Kansas City Royals. We're going to have options. We're going to have firepower coming back, which is nice. But you cannot have the gaping hole that you have at catcher. You cannot have the ongoing headache at shortstop between Caballero, who's come back down to earth, which everyone predicted, Volpe, who everyone knows what the hell he is now. What the hell's going on at third base? Rosario is not hitting lefties like he was brought here to do. So what do you do there?
Yeah.
McMahon is a below average bat. Jazz Chisholm is struggling. Trent Grisham, he's not living up to that $22 million number that he got, for the qualifying offer. So you have holes in this lineup. You have, situations where you need bona fide solutions that were proven major league talent to lengthen this order. So when you do get Bellinger back, so when you do get Judge back, when you do get Stanton back, you don't have 4 holes at the bottom of the lineup where pitchers are just going to cruise through there. So, hopefully with the next less than 2 hours to come, there will be some moves there. But, we've seen some pieces come off the board already to our competition in the American League East that, were names that were kind of being floated out there as potential fits for the Yankees. So very irritating to see, guys who we were hopeful for go to our competition. So now we're in a situation where going into the deadline, you're like, oh, the American League is weak. Yankees are going to cakewalk to the World Series, blah, blah, blah. Now the American League is not so weak anymore. The Rays added, Freddie Peralta. You got Hicks, the catcher over there. You got Adley to Boston. I think I just saw that Zach Neto might be going to Boston here soon. So they're getting better. They're fair against an improved Red Sox team. And
maybe we'll do something. Maybe we won't, but we don't feel like this is a window where we need to put the chips in. And they're valuing the long to intermediate term value of the guys they have in the farm system over a more opportunistic put the chips in type of approach. But in terms of Boston, we got swept by them with a better rust than we have now.
And that was ugly, man. Yeah, that was pure belt.
You can say it's an anomaly, but it happened, and it could happen again. And setting aside the emotional weight of getting embarrassed by Boston, I still think that we are a better team, even if we don't lift a finger.
Yeah, on paper,
for sure. I think our pitching has incredibly stepped up in a way that I even couldn't predict. And I've been the biggest proponent of this being the best rotation in baseball, maybe the best rotation in baseball in the last 3 years. Even with LA's adding of Skubal, I still rate the Yankees higher. We've needed every single ounce of talent from our pitching to get by. I mean, it's been, we're an error.
Offense has been bad.
Yeah, we're an error and a fly ball away from losing half these games, more than half these games that we've been winning. I think our run,
and that's sadly that's not an understatement. Yeah, that's pretty fucking accurate.
Our hot streak has been 13 of 20, which is a pretty modest hot streak. And in that time, it's required the starting pitching to basically give up an average of 1.3 runs every 9 innings for 54 innings. The bullpen has been not quite as dominant, but incredibly effective over that time period. And you mentioned it, man. Going back to the previous comment we made about how if you asked ourselves going into the deadline, what's our biggest need? We wouldn't have said a lefty platoon bat playing first base and DH.
Yeah,
we would have said bullpen help. I would have said that first, and then also potentially some offense.
Get me a fucking catcher. If the only catcher they get is Higashioka by a couple hours from now, I'm going to lose my fucking shit.
It's an embarrassment that we fumbled Rushman to Boston.
Oh man!
And if we don't add Jeffers, we don't add Goodman, then we're pretty much just signing ourselves up for, hopefully Wells can figure it out. I mean, I'll talk till I'm blue in the face about how valuable he is defensively, but you wouldn't have had a downgrade with Rushman. And he, you got Orioles fans for the last 2 years complaining about a 750 OPS. It's like you don't know how good you have it. 750 OPS.
Yeah, look at Wells now. He's irrelevant. But I was looking at Rushman's numbers, because everyone's been like, oh, Rushman's overrated, blah, blah, blah. He's been hurt, which there is some truth to, obviously. So I was looking into the numbers. He's like a 115 weighted runs created plus guy. OPS, I think, is around 720, 730, 740. And his fielding run value, he's among some of the best catchers in the sport defensively. So you're getting a guy who's a switch hitter. You're getting a guy who can command the pitching staff. You're getting a guy who ranks among the top defensive catchers in the league, and you're looking at a guy who's above average offensively. So our people are going towards, oh well, the Yankees just didn't want to give up, to get him. And don't get me wrong, I looked at the haul that the Red Sox got I mean, that the Red Sox gave to get Rushman, and it's a haul. It's a lot of top guys in their farm system, but this is going back to, are you going to push all your chips in the middle? Are you going to push all your chips on the table and go all in? The Red Sox seem to be doing that right now, and the Yankees seem to be okay with standing pat if they don't do anything between now and the end of this deadline. So, you got the Rays getting a Freddie Peralta, who, I think his expected ERA is like a full run lower than his actual ERA. So, the Rays are crazy with how they, can manipulate players and fix what the hell they got going on that's wrong with them. So you can expect Freddie Peralta to be a pretty formidable starter going down the stretch. It adds depth to their to their rotation. We know the stuff is good. They're going to fix him. So they got a good starting pitcher that they're going to fix. They got a good catching option, a guy that a lot of Yankees fans wanted, and Hicks from the Marlins, which is not going to pan out because he's gone now. So, it's frustrating to see the two teams that we're competing with the most fiercely in our division going for it, getting good pieces, we got a good piece in Garcia. Don't get me wrong, but
we're not mad about Garcia. That's not what the story here.
There are more, important needs, I think. I mean, he is one of the
best. That's your only
move.
Move. What are we doing? That's the real thing. Right now, you've created as many problems as you've solved. We're gonna be seeing some lineups coming out there on the wire the next few weeks and months that are really gonna make us scratch our heads, and we're gonna have to look and be like, well, we got 3 or 4 DHs on this team. So what do you expect? I mean,
and Goldschmidt has fallen off of a cliff recently. They were talking about his numbers yesterday, how he's gone through a couple horrific slumps in the last 30 to 45 days. So you got a piece. So you got a piece in Garcia, who is going to get a lot of run against right-handed pitching, obviously. But it makes me think ahead to a playoff series where you're facing a good lefty maybe a couple times in that series, and one of your best acquisitions at the deadline will be on the bench. So, if he's going to be a strict platoon guy, you're going to have Goldschmidt out there in very important games, second half of the season, old body. He's wearing out. What did you say? You got in trouble the other day for saying Goldschmidt is a balding.
Yeah, I think I said the bedrock of our lineup right now is a balding 38-year-old former MVP. And people were just really upset that I said he was balding, which is just a fact. And I love Goldschmidt. It was just like, I'm just telling you I'm telling you what it is. People were like, why would you bring up his balding? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Why not? It's Twitter. Who cares?
It makes him look older than he actually is. It makes him look 45, and he's not 45, which is pretty much what you were alluding to. But it's very telling that I think this deal for the Yankees was acquire one of the best slugging percentage guys in the league to bolster the lineup and plug him in wherever you might be able to. Add a premium talent, figure it out afterwards. I think that's kind of what happened here. A lot of people were speculating maybe Ben Rice goes back to catching and Garcia plays first base. But as a big Stanton guy, which you are, where does Stanton figure into this? Because now we got, Judge, who probably shouldn't be crashing in the walls when he gets back. You're going to have Ben Rice, who's probably not the best first baseman defensively. You're going to have Garcia, who probably will need to DH here and there. Goldschmidt probably relegated to, strictly facing lefties defensively at first, but maybe we're facing a lefty and Goldschmidt might have to DH, and be another right-handed bat, because we don't have a lot of right-handed bats right now to get a shot at, scoring early against a lefty. So do you think Stanton's done? If not, what do you expect him to contribute unless you figure into this logjam? Because now it's a whole clusterfuck of just a bunch of guys that, kind of need to fit in certain positions.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Stanton playing or, hitting at a very effective clip before he got hurt. I mean, I think he was in a bit of a cold spell right before he got injured, so his OPS had dropped. But, I mean, the first month of the season, I believe he was sitting at a 900 OPS plus, or 900 plus OPS. So I don't think he's done. I don't know how he figures into this lineup. That's a valid question. It remains to be seen how you fit him in there with the absolute, need to have Ben Rice play basically every single day.
Yeah.
And when you add a Garcia, what I'm hoping for is, I know he's not stellar defensively at second base, but boy, I hope that's an option. I hope Garcia can play second for us, not necessarily regularly, but on occasion. I think you got more hope. Remember like a year and a half ago or whatever it was when we were like toying with the idea of Goldschmidt moving over to second base?
Oh my God, yes.
It was never a serious thing, but
he used to play third base back in the day, didn't he?
Yeah. There was never a serious thing, but there was footage of him taking some grounders a second, like, during practice. And it was like, oh man, could you imagine the lineup? I mean, I'm sure he'd be absolutely miserable at second, and I'm not sure if Garcia would be that much better.
He'd be dragging those big ass forearms all over that second base area. Not getting to anything range.
No, but Garcia playing second. I think I'm curious to hear more from Nationals fans that I know how he's looked when he has played second.
I took a peek yesterday. I think he is like -17 defensive run save at second base and like -8 outs above average. So, it's worse than Glaber probably.
For sure.
But, after I always come back to this, the Yankees are in this weird thing where they all of a sudden care about defense now. After years of putting Gary Sanchez behind the plate and Glaber at second base and, having less than ideal defensive guys at, pretty important positions. So now defense is a big thing after the Dodgers clown them after 2024. So now they want to get their fundamentals right. They get very upset when you bring up base running. They're like, well, we've improved on our base running decisions. They're very self-conscious about getting called out for that shit now. So, I don't foresee them putting him at second base because if he kicks the ball around or fucks something up in a big moment, it goes back to, there go the bad fundamental Yankees again, blah, blah, blah. So, part of that is why they value a Cody Bellinger because he plays 3 outfield positions at a very high level. They still value Austin Wells because he's a good defensive catcher, even though he's not hitting. They're probably going to keep Jazz at second base because he's a good defender. If you look at his fan graphs, his defensive run saving, his outs above average, and fielding run value are all really good. So, Volpe's playing pretty good defense, so they're going to keep running him out there short. They got McMahon to play third base because of his defense. So, you're looking at a lot of guys that are spread around this roster that are quote unquote good defenders, and we're seeing a horrible lack of offense because of it. So it's weird to see what they're going to do in the next hour and a half. Do they go out and get a guy who's not a good defender and plug him in at third base? I'm not sure about Wyatt Langford.
No.
They keep talking about the Rangers trying to sell Eovaldi and DeGrom and all these different guys. Maybe Seager right now. Is a Wyatt Langford available? I think he's a stud. Good offensive player. I haven't looked at his defensive metrics, but a guy out there like that. We do know that Cashman loves to pull some surprise deal out of his ass sometimes that no one's been talking about. He likes to flex that fucking big brain of his and show everyone how smart he is. So, I'm holding out hope that he pulls one of those. Like, is there a player out there that we don't know is available that Cashman's going to, sweep out from under the rug or some shit? I don't know. But
what did you hear about Langford? Wyatt Langford is incredibly intriguing to me. Is that really a possibility?
They're talking about the Rangers having a fire sale right now. So they're saying they're listening on everybody. So, I mean, is Langford – they're talking about the Braves checked in on DeGrom. They're talking about Mackenzie Gore being an option of being moved. So it's sounding more like pitching right now. But, it sounds like the Rangers are open for business. So a team that we were looking at potentially being open for business was the Padres. Looking at Morihone, which was the rumor that Will Warren was offered in that deal and it was declined or whatever. A lot of speculation there that didn't happen, or a lot of people's coming out and saying, no, that wasn't the thing. There's just a lot of, teams that are deciding to be in it now. You look at the Blue Jays, kind of weird. They moved Gossman. Everyone's like, oh, here comes the fire sale. Then they go out and they add Soriano, who early on in the season was a Cy Young contender. He's got really good stuff. They're going to pair him with Cease, and then you got Savage, and they're only 4.5 out of a wild card. So you kind of have teams that are like on the bubble, kind of hybrid selling while also buying, maybe for next year, maybe for a miracle run for the rest of this season. But with 2027 hanging in the balance, it's not looking like there's going to be a season next year because of how crazy the labor negotiations have been, and it's going to get even worse with School Bowl going to LAD. That pretty much solidified, next year being gone, because this is going to be outrageous. Maybe all this trade stuff is just all for naught because the Dodgers are going to three-peat no matter what. But, baseball's a weird sport. Sometimes, things happen. You got the Milwaukee Brewers, who are a really good team in the National League right now, one of the best records in baseball. They added Dustin May and Jojo Romero, the relief pitcher from the Cardinals. So, the Brewers missed out on, some of the other pieces that were floating around. Everyone was praying the Brewers were going to get School Bowl. which did not happen. But I mean, it's crazy. The Dodgers didn't even give up much to get him. So you got to wonder, did the Brewers even seriously offer? What was the sense of urgency for the Tigers to make that move when they could maybe have gotten a better deal somewhere else? Very interesting situation there. But real quick, thank all of you guys for being in here. We absolutely love it. We are here enjoying this deadline together. I am checking Twitter as much as I can. I'm looking up at my TV to make sure I didn't miss any trades. So if you guys in the comments see something that pops up or hear something, a rumor, whatever, some insider was talking about or on TV, put it in the
Or if you just want to
here.
make something up and mess with us, put something
Yeah,
in the
that
chat.
too. That too. Let me just read some of these comments really quick. I'll just skim through here real quick. So people are saying, is Judge going to be back? I say yes. I think he's going to be back probably middle of September. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's optimistic. I think people are starting to get real concerned about the tea leaves aspect of this because, you have the reports and then you have what the reports really mean. And so I'm not really in the game of trying to I naturally want to be optimistic and just assume he'll be back soon. But we've been given zero reason to believe that. So I think mid-September makes sense.
I think I'm holding out hope that, the last time he got imaging, they said there was healing, just not enough yet. Yeah. So how many more weeks until that bone is fully healed? And then from that point, because he hasn't been able to run, he hasn't been able to lift weights. So his body's going to be in a place where I'm hoping, you and me both go to the gym. Is there going to be some atrophy there?
Not to brag.
Is there going to be some risk of a soft tissue injury while he's trying to ramp it up quickly?
Yeah, you worry about the training. You do. I mean, is he able to do at least lower body? You wonder. I mean, I'm not sure.
He's been riding an exercise bike. That's it.
Wow.
So where's his body at by the time the healing is good enough to start baseball activities? How long is the ramp up? Does he need a minor league stint? Is he going to be doing live BP, at the stadium against, some fuck from AAA? Like, I think he will be back before the playoffs, but like you said, the longer this goes on and the more, question marks that there are, you kind of start to worry a little bit. But wouldn't you think if there was any obviously they want to wait until after the deadline to talk about that for leverage purposes. But wouldn't you think they would be going out to get an outfielder right now? We already saw Ward go to the Mariners. We saw Adele go to the Guardians. It feels like the Yankees are okay with not getting a right-handed, outfielder. So does that, are they alluding to Judge possibly coming back by not being more aggressive to acquire outfield help? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
The plan is not to have Stanton come back and play right field.
Please, God.
That's not the plan. I can say that.
He can hardly walk to the bathroom without getting hurt right now.
Yeah, they did do that 2 years ago. They had Stanton playing some outfield 2 years ago. That's true. But I think we're past that at this point with this most recent injury.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Yeah, I think we might see a bit more optimistic news coming out of the deadline with Judge, like the other side of the deadline. I mean, but we also might not. It might be totally. It's a valid prediction, but I'm not sure if it's a guarantee. Wyatt Langford's a righty. Ever since you mentioned his name a few moments ago,
I'm very intrigued by it.
Yeah, man.
It just depends. So the Yankees came into this with a lot of arms, controllable arms that they could move. You have a Will Warren, you have a Weathers, you have Rodriguez in the minors, you got Ben Hess, you got a couple other guys, Cunningham. There are arms, controllable arms that are going to be, appealing that the Yankees can give up if they need to go get a bat that's going to, impact this lineup or go get a guy who's going to drastically improve this team. And it seems like the Yankees are pretty reluctant to move on that. I don't think they're going to move Lombard, obviously. Spencer Jones, my guy, we've been talking about him, the last couple times we did shows. He's blossoming into, hopefully blossoming into something that is going to be, somewhat sustainable going forward. I think he has more tools than people, give him credit for. But, the Yankees have pieces that they can move to go get good players. And We're
Okay,
not
right
seeing it.
now, if you assume the Yankees are going to make one more move before this is all said and done, you get one move, right? One magic wand. You don't get to pick the player, but if you can address a need with one move between now and an hour and a half from now.
Catcher.
Yeah, catcher.
Get a
That's
catcher.
it, man. You replace what we've gotten at catcher to this point of the season with something at least halfway decent. That's the biggest impact if you have one move to make. I mean, so if we're talking about what's up the sleeve of our friend Brian Cashman, the bald man, the hope is not necessarily this big Hail Mary of, oh, maybe it's Wyatt Langford. Maybe there is something still cooking with some relievers we haven't even mentioned yet. The hope is that it's a Hunter Goodman or at least a Ryan Sheffers, and if we can get that, maybe we feel
that'd be awesome
about all this.
You know, a lot of people are trying to poo-poo the Goodman thing, and he's got a lot of swing and miss and stuff like that. I haven't looked
catcher right now. It does not matter, right? I mean, it doesn't matter.
Stick him at the bottom of the order and hope he hits a bomb.
That's
honestly what we would be doing. Like, you don't have to have him hitting third. So
no,
I know that everyone goes back to the Yankees are a heavy swing and miss team. All they do is hit home runs. That's the only way you can win. Blah blah blah. Well, I'm reading some comments here. Mike the Mad Dog. Mike and the Mad Dog. He said, "Look younger and more handsome and stronger." We will take it. That's the Martian. He's a good friend of mine on Twitter. He's a good guy. Let me go through some of these comments real quick. Brunson owns you. I had a hard time with that. Sorry. Judge isn't coming back, which is why they aren't making moves. That's one angle to it.
It's possible. I mean, that's a doomsday scenario.
But if you look at the rotation, it's arguably the best. I mean, now the Dodgers probably have the best, but with a rotation like that and a bullpen that's performing well, and maybe getting a few guys back, I don't know, man. Maybe you take a chance. This isn't 2023. There's obviously a better team around Judge, to sustain, at least treading water.
That's a good point. That's a good point, man. Like, even if we don't get Judge back, this is the kind of rotation that you just can't waste. Whatever your offense is, this is a World Series winning rotation. Like, we wring our hands and we watch the games and we have a hard time with some of our shortcomings and everything. But look at the last 3 weeks. Look at how this team's pitched. I mean, are you kidding me? You don't need to go out and add Babe Ruth to make this team a winner.
And the Cubs are one of the better teams record-wise in baseball, and we held them down pretty well. So, I can't even really say they competed with the Dodgers, but they, there were moments where they looked decent. The Garrett Cole game was a gut punch, man. When he hung that changeup to Muncy,
we had that game.
It was a bummer. They looked pretty good against the Phillies. They looked pretty good against the White Sox, except for some awful blunders like Ali Sanchez throwing down to third base to try to backpick the runner. When you have a 1-run lead with 2 outs, just go get the batter, bro, which is another example of why we need this catching situation figured out, because that was some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen on a baseball field. But then you have the Yankees coming out, and they're like, oh, we're not going to just stop doing things. We're major leaguers. They just got to play catch. I'm like, no, the decision at all was stupid. It was stupid as fuck. Like, don't come out and try to sugarcoat this shit so you can protect Ali Sanchez's feelings. Like, holy fuck. Like, what is wrong with you? Fuck? Do they all think we're stupid? Like, I understand protecting your player, but what's wrong with coming out and saying, you know what, in that moment, definitely something that we need to reconsider next time. We got to be better in moments like that and take care of the baseball and make sure we get the batter there. But if he said that, would anyone crucify him? Would Brian Cashman come down with his fucking iron fist and try to fire somebody for saying that? Like,
no,
it just drives me nuts. But
but we digress.
We've hung around with a pretty ragtag lineup because the pitching has been that good. So why not add a couple bats? And like they have added one, but I'd like to see one more, preferably right-handed, to add some more balance to this lineup. Because what if Stanton pulls a calf? What if Judge dives into a base or something and re-injures the rib? There's possibilities that we might not have them through the rest of the playoffs. You're just one tweak, one incident away from being re-injured. So why not add another bat? Maybe
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Spencer Jones flashing the way he has the last week and a half or so, 2 weeks, do you think that impacts any of the calculus around whether we add an outfielder right now? Not whether it should. Do you think it's do you think that has an impact? That short-term data set. Do you think that impacts the way the front office moves or doesn't move on an outfielder or any bat right now?
I think yes, because he is a very versatile defender. He could play all three outfield positions, but we are very left-handed in the outfield. We
Okay.
need,
Yeah.
we need a right-handed bat somewhere. If it's not the outfield, maybe a third baseman or maybe a catcher. We need a right-handed bat somewhere in here because we're Garcia is a lefty, Rice is a lefty, Jazz is a lefty, Grisham's a lefty, Bellinger's a lefty, McMahon's a lefty. So it's like Wells is a lefty, a lot of lefties. So we need if Stanton's not going to be a thing, if
Do you remember? Do you remember like 4 or 5 years ago when it was like, why can't the Yankees get any lefty?
I know where you're going with this. They overcorrected and they went Rizzo and Gallo and somebody else, I think. And,
that was a big sea change for sure. But I see a question in here, a good question, but from Jesse just a few moments ago. What's with the hate on the Luis Garcia trade? I'm not sure if we're hating on it. Sorry for giving that impression, but the reality is like he's a really effective platoon bat. And I appreciate the idea of like, you can't always pick the need over the player. And so you're kind of, Brian Cashman and co are definitely on the side of best player available at the best price for moves like this. They don't want to lose a trade, and they want to acquire talent and then find out how that fits in later, more than just address a need with like a laser focus on what we need. Having said that, this is such a brutal mismatch of need and player, given the fact that we have no weaknesses at first base, DH, or left-handed power right now.
And that's what everyone was saying on Twitter yesterday. Where's he going to play? Where's he going to play? Where's he going to play? So
he'll play,
we're talking.
He won't face a single lefty. He won't.
This was my first thought. Dodgers. They have Skubal. They have Blake Snell, who's going to be healthy in time. Let's say the Yankees do get to the World Series and we do face the Dodgers again. Let's say they go Skubal, Yamamoto, Snell, first 3 games. You're not going to have Luis Garcia Jr. in the lineup for 2 out of 3 of those games. So, I like it against Yamamoto. I like it against Tyler Glasnow.
He's a let's make the playoffs move. He's not a let's tune up our roster for the postseason move. He's like, hey, let's not limp in to the playoffs because – I think the fact that he fits the mold of a player that has an extra year of control is almost irrelevant. Like, Cashman almost as a rule never requires guys that are only rentals. Yeah. But I think this guy would have made just as much sense as a rental as he does as a player with a year and a half. I really do think it's more just like, hey, Bellinger's hurt. We need thump at a good price. And I think Luis Garcia was adding thump to this lineup at a really good value. We give up barely anything for him, unlike the Red Sox with Adley. And hopefully that allows us to add a catcher here. And if we don't, man, the color of all this changes so dramatically if this is it. It's hard to even talk about it now because if this is it, my tone is very different. Right now I'm just scared. I'm really horrified at the idea of this being it.
I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
And I'm going back and forth because we need bullpen help, man. We do. I don't care if it's top of the bullpen or bottom of the bullpen. We need we need some more arms. And if we're really just leaving it up to call-ups, okay, hopefully that goes well. But the later you get in the season, the more valuable guys who have experience become. And if you're relying on guys like LeGrand here to come up and just blow the doors off guys like the way Jabba did back in the day. I mean, even Jabba struggled in the postseason, and he was elite when he came up.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee. I mean, right now you're looking at Bednar, possible multi-inning guy. Hedrick is going to be your number one probably setup man, right?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Shivili figures in there somewhere.
Do you remember when we had Debbie Garcia starting a playoff game?
Yep, J-Hap. Didn't J-Hap follow him or something?
Yeah, imagine a scenario where not we have starters locked down. We're good unless there's catastrophic injuries. But imagine a scenario where you're bringing a guy in like a Davy Garcia in the 6th or 7th inning of a playoff game because we're down only give you 4 innings or Schlittler got rocked in the 5th or 6th inning. That's just as scary to me as having a guy like Ryan Yarbrough opening a game. maybe even scarier. And so we're setting ourselves up for that kind of scenario, and you're putting too much pressure on the starting rotation when you don't have guys that are like not just talented and throw 100, but guys that have experience where you can predict their makeup when they're thrown into a high leverage spot. Yeah. That's where talk about analytics having gaps and analytics having downfalls. I mean, the clearest and most irrefutable area is like bullpen experience.
Right.
It doesn't matter what kind of arm a guy has or what his peripheral numbers are. When you throw him against a really, really good lineup, when the weather's cold and the crowd's going nuts and everyone's tight.
It takes a certain type of dude.
Yeah. Give me some 35-year-old veteran relievers, man. Give me a handful of decent, like not necessarily back-end guys, but like just like get me over the plate when I have to throw a strike. Because right now, Fernando Cruz, he's a veteran, but there's times where he can't locate. And it's like, dude, you're bringing this guy in with guys on base and stuff now because you're so thin and he's overworked and he's not at his best. And you're just expecting this guy to continue to do what he's doing. Man,
I'm not happy with him right now, man.
So as badly as we want to catch her right now, and we were saying if that was our only move, then that's the move we want. Boy, man, can we really expect to rely on additions from within and call-ups to kind of throw out this bullpen and really bring in the reinforcement for the rotation?
It looks like they're probably going to add, in a hypothetical playoff situation, it's looking like you're going to see Weathers and Warren go to the bullpen. Possibly LaGrange comes up.
It's true.
And they're just gonna mix and match with those guys. But where's the firepower? Where's the flamethrower? Where's the nasty heater with a nasty slider that breaks off of it?
Weathers.
Like, where is that? Like I need that guy because Bednar is going to be at the end of the game. But how do you bridge the gap? I know Shivili throws 98. He throws pretty hard, but he's got to change up that he can't locate very well. We saw a little bit of that. I think his last game was in Chicago. I think in one of the games they lost, he kind of lost the strike zone a little bit. So can you rely on him to come in and pump 98 and get the guys to chase that changeup? I don't know. I mean, Hedrick, how often can you wear out Hedrick? I know he's good against righties. He got the good wipeout sweeper. But Fernando Cruz, I'm nervous about him. Coming in, he's overused. He's an older guy.
I know he's been good, man. I got a lot of grief about talking about his reliability recently because his numbers for the totality have been good. But you and I have some experience throwing the rock 68.5 feet. And we know when a guy is in command and when a guy isn't. We know when a guy's getting by on guile versus when a guy's getting by on stuff. And you start to see these red flags with some of these guys when they get overworked the way they have. And there's always a handful of guys by the end of the season that get almost like sacrificially overworked, and Cruz is that guy right now.
Dude, in his last 7 games, his ERA is over 7.
Yeah, it's not great.
In his last 15 games, bigger sample size, his ERA is 4.5. So he's giving up runs, he's giving up hits. His last roughly 20 innings pitched, he's giving up about a hit per inning pitch, and the K's are there because guys will chase that split. But there's been appearances he's had recently where guys are seeing the split really well and they're not chasing it. So in the event that guys are not chasing the split, what does he have to get you out? A little, 92 mile an hour fastball with a little slider he throws every now and then. He's not the dominant wipeout guy, that everyone makes it out to be. Oh man, the Cubs just got Clay Holmes and Taylor from the Mets. So the Cubs are doing it. We should be.
That was our move. How would you feel about acquiring Clay Holmes and plugging him in as a reliever again?
I mean, as long as he's not closing, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But it looks like the teams right now are valuing him quite a bit as a starter. So the Cubs have added Gossman. The Cubs just added Taylor and Holmes. The Cubs are doing some things right now, man. They're pretty aggressive. So we're going to see. We saw the Padres go for Robbie Ray. Did they add someone else, or am I forgetting somebody? I think that's it for now. But they're keeping Mason Miller. They're keeping Morihone. They're adding a Robbie Ray. So the Padres are like, you know what? We're going to go toe to toe with LAD, and we'll figure this out, or we'll do it through the wild card.
We would have had to trade Spencer Jones, Will Warren, LaGrange, and probably George Lombard Jr. to acquire Mason Miller. They were floating him on the off chance someone would come in and dramatically overpay. And we tricked ourselves into believing it was possible. I know I did.
Dude, that's my white whale right there, man.
Yeah.
No racist involved, but they were talking about Zach Neto to the Red Sox earlier, and I haven't seen it materialize yet.
Yeah,
Maybe around.
That was a head fake, man. I don't think I saw anything about that until you mentioned it. So
yeah, they put it right here on MLB Network, and they're like, "Oh, it's almost done." And I was like, "Oh shit!" Adley Rutschman, Neto. He's not the the premier talent that maybe some people thought he was. I thought he was when he was a younger guy. His defensive metrics are not great, at shortstop, and his offense has kind of dipped a little bit. But that's a guy, if he does go to Boston, who is an upgrade over what they have at shortstop, and Neto is a guy that they can pull the ball over the monster. So
yeah, just imagine like trading prospects to acquire a second Volpe for the roster.
Yeah.
That's what it would be like if the Yankees got Neto. Like, I feel like you can dream on a guy you haven't seen a lot, but Angels fans know there aren't very many of them out there. But if the ones that are, they know. Neto's been maybe not quite as frustrating as Volpe, but he's in the same neighborhood. And if we had two of those guys and a Caballero, I mean, I'm not sure if that helps us more than Garcia, to be frank. It would appear to address the need more directly, like we talked about.
Yeah.
But Neto would have been the kind of guy we'd have to talk ourselves into based on what we know, and just hope a change of scenery ignites something with him. But I'm comfortable not acquiring a guy like him. But we've talked about it. We got to add a catcher. We got to add some bullpen, man. That's what we need. I mean,
what do you think about a guy I've kind of been talking about for the last couple of days, who I'm very frustrated with, Jazz Chisholm? What are we going to do with that
about
guy?
Jazz in general? I think he's having a real shit year. Sorry for the language, but I think he's a good player. He's a head case, and he's having a real bad year, and he's trying to use positive self-talk to get around it. But there's no getting around it in baseball, man. The numbers are the numbers, and he's been a guy that has come through in the clutch at various points. But baseball is a game of, at this point in the season, baseball is a game of what you're doing in the aggregate. And we can talk about how Goldschmidt has kind of earned some goodwill around the fact that he's not only older and requires time on the shelf regardless, but he has his intermittent pockets of elite play that kind of tie you over for the months where he's out there not doing much. A Jazz couples that with youth and the assumption that he's in his prime, and also he mixes in a few major bad look head mistakes that cause you to kind of get frustrated and have a shorter leash and a shorter temper on a guy like him. At the same time, I have not been shouting to the rooftops about how we need to replace a Jazz with an Arias. I know a lot of Yankee fans have been. I can appreciate the argument behind it. I'm not hating on the people who believe that. But for me right now, when what you're lacking is offensive firepower and just power in general from a lineup that is lacking production from Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, amongst others, Bellinger now, we don't need a guy right now that is a complimentary contact first guy as badly as we would need an effective Jazz, right? No one wants a guy batting 190 and popping out and striking out all the time. And that's what Jazz has been a lot of the year. But when he's going right, he's more what we need right now to tie us over with Judge out than an Arias, who really fits nicely in a lineup like a fully healthy Yankees lineup or a Dodgers lineup where you got guys to set the table. Right now, we need some thump. And as bad as Jazz has been, I don't think it's worth putting the chips forward for a guy like Arias and moving off Jazz when you still have the possibility of Jazz regressing to the positive and kind of finding it again and being what he was for us all last year. I know he wasn't a world beater in the playoffs, but he was definitely an important piece for us offensively last year, making up for the loss of Soto. And that's still a possibility for me. So, it's a complicated question, man. Jazz is a complicated player, and he draws a lot of emotions, negative and positive, out of a lot of fans. But I still think the upside is compelling.
Yeah, I could see it, man. I'm gonna be honest. The last couple of days, I've come around to the Arias. Sorry, I'm trying to put ESPN on here because I believe that Passan is on the deadline special thing. But I just saw everyone just said Tyler Wells to the Rays, which is a good ad for them. So, the AL East is getting better, man. It's getting much better. and we are sleeping. Like, what? Do something. Fuck. But going back to pass and confirm Tyler Wells to the. Let's see. Yeah, Tyler Wells to the Rays. Okay, well, good for them. But man, yeah, his stuff is not great, but he is a solid pitcher. So they got a good arm. Going back to Jazz, man, very frustrated with him. He's had a really bad. To say he's just had a bad year is an understatement. This dude is choking before a contract year, choking in front of everybody, and it is ugly to see. To the point where you need his teammates going up to him saying, "Best in the world."
Yeah,
his teammates are gaslighting him, calling him the best in the world to try and improve his confidence. What are we doing there? That's stupid. That's clearly a lie. It's corny. It's gimmicky. Hey, bro, best in the world. Shut the fuck up. He doesn't even have a 700 OPS right now. The guy is failing miserably. And, I'm just very irritated because he's had 2 seasons, 2024 and 2025, bad playoffs, bad postseasons, subpar OPS. His average with runners in scoring position this year, I believe, is like 170. He's not contributing in terms of driving in runs. You need to play the whole pump up your ego gimmick in the clubhouse to keep him engaged. He's getting in trouble for eating lollipops on the field. We got the playoffs that are a struggle to him. This thing is blowing up in his face. And, I'm not the biggest Arias guy. He's kind of stone hands on defense. I know people have said he's improved a little bit. I know he doesn't hit for power, but he's got an 800 OPS, and he's hitting like 320. So, I wouldn't mind having that guy in the leadoff spot, smoke a single every now and then, drive up a pitch count, have a tough at bat, get on base for a Judge who's coming back soon or a Ben Rice, rather than the guy who's failing miserably who you need to lie to keep him engaged. So I'm very irritated with Jazz. Like you said, there is a possibility he, kind of falls back into the very athletic, dynamic, power hitting type of guy that he is. He is stealing bases, so I got to give him that. He will poke out a few homers, but and the defense is pretty good. He's not a big problem on this team. But would I have hated Arias replacing him? No, but you and I both know there are certain guys in there, especially when it comes to Judge, who are buddies. I think Jazz is a Judge buddy guy. I think Jazz is a clubhouse, bubbly, confident, whatever you call kind of guy. They like him there. So, if you rip him out of there and you put Arias in there, I think it would have been a addition by subtraction and adding a solid, tough guy that doesn't strike out, that'll punch a few singles, get on base. I thought that was a good thing, but
maybe I just think that's they're showing they're going to be holding on to these prospects more than we would want in the short-term mindset, and I think maybe hopefully, assuming there's more moves to be made, I'm not necessarily opposed to them not putting the chips in on that move because I think it's a close call, and I think we need the power now more than we need the contact. However, with everyone healthy and back and in the postseason, I want to Rise for sure. I want a guy like Arias in there instead of a guy like Jazz to complement the guys like Bellinger, Judge, and Stanton, and Rice, obviously. But I hear you. I hear you on all that, man.
I just, if I have to watch Jazz flail miserably with runners in scoring position in the playoffs again, I'm going to pull whatever little hair I fucking have on my head out completely because I'm fucking tired of it. Tired of the antics. You can have, it's like Antonio Brown or like a diva wide receiver. If you're going to be a diva, if you're going to, want the swag and the aura and all this shit that comes with, your whole persona, if you don't want people to get tired of that and think it's a gimmick, then you got to perform. And he's not performing.
The Yankees are closing in on a deal for Helio Ramos from the Giants. You guys got about a 104 OPS plus. He's kind of like an average, body type guy.
It's another
26 years old, turning 27 in a couple days.
I've had him in fantasy a couple times this year. He's got some power. He's serviceable. He doesn't move the needle for this team, but Better than nothing, I guess, right? I mean, what do we just say? We need a right-handed bat. He's a right-handed bat. That's what he is. So,
It's
Sherman.
funny because our buddy Dylan over here said that they aren't making any more moves, and then immediately there was a move for Ramos. But it's just Helio Ramos. Who cares?
Yeah, he's pretty mid, man. Let me look at his numbers really quickly.
Yeah,
I know he's got potential. You know, he's kind of a strong dude. He's a thicker guy. He's got pop, but you know, this is, you know, he's got a 728 OPS. In his last 30 games, he's hitting about 260 with a 700 OPS. So
he's a major leaguer for sure, man. He's been around for a little bit, but not that long. He made his debut in 2022, but didn't really get a ton of run until 2024. And he looks like he made an All-Star team in 2024 in his first full season.
He's got talent.
Had an OPS of 792 that year. Definitely his best year was 2024. Like I said, he made the All-Star team that year. It looks like.
I found the reason. Against lefties, he's hitting 290 with an 835 OPS. There you go. So he's going to get a lot of run against lefties. So this is what we just talked about.
Got a
very
left-handed
outfield. Yep, very left-handed outfield.
I mean, hey man,
going to get a right-hander in there.
It's nothing too exciting, but the guy, he definitely fills a need for us. He's a major league level hitter. We do need righty bats. He does mash lefties. Garcia mashes righties. With this pitching staff, you just need a little bit of offense to tie us over till our big boys come back fully healthy.
So does
don't hate it. Don't hate it.
Let's say we're facing a lefty. Let's say Bellinger goes to center, Ramos plays left, Judge and right.
Yeah, I think Ramos plays left field, definitely on the road in particular.
Because you want to get a lefty out of there in favor of him, so you pull Grisham, move Bellinger center. He could play center. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not my favorite thing, you know. It's not a boner killer, but it's not a boner creator.
I think he platoons with Jones, right? And he just mix and match in the outfield with Bellinger moving to center when he has to. Yeah,
I think once Bellinger's back, Jones might, be heading down.
Depends on how he plays from here on out, man. If he keeps this up, if he keeps improving the way he has, which I think we have reason to believe he might, I think he might force the issue. But the fact that he's a righty is huge. I mean, in a parallel universe where Helio Ramos is a left-handed batter, this is totally nothing. But the fact that we are acquiring a major league level right-handed bat who can play the outfield is a positive, and you figure it out as you go. You give Boone some pieces to play with, and hope he makes the right decisions. But
so I'm looking at Ramos as a left fielder defensively. He has 0 defensive runs saved, -2 outs above average, and -1 fielding run value. So he's about average.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's fine by me. He's not a liability. So I'm seeing some people in the chat are saying Sherman says Yankees may not get a catcher.
Yeah.
Why? Why would they not get a catcher? Is the ask too high? Are the guys they thought were available not available?
Well, the Twins aren't sellers right now. They haven't shown that they're sellers. And the Rockies are probably asking a lot for Goodman. So maybe it's a third name. Maybe it's someone we haven't talked about yet.
So John Heyman is coming out 2 minutes ago saying the Yankees are still working on acquiring bats. Plural. Yeah. Hopefully more than Helio Ramos. So working on acquiring bats, plural. Their run production is down more than a run since Judge went on the IL. Not a surprise there.
Do you think Ramos makes the potential move for Wyatt Langford less likely? I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see third base or catcher addressed here though, before the end of this thing.
For a third baseman, given that they like Rosario and they clearly don't hate McMahon enough to not play him. I feel like if we do acquire a third baseman, it has to be a bigger name than a Ramos. It has to be someone that actually is going to be a bit of a surprise, maybe. But I could be wrong. But if we do add a third baseman, who are some names that come to mind for you?
Fuck, I don't know what's out there in terms of a third baseman. I mean, I can't even think of one. Everyone in the chat right now is talking about, not getting a catcher right now, and I'm seeing McMahon is way less a problem than the catchers. Absolutely. No, I'm not saying that third base would be, a priority over catcher, but catcher's a problem right now, man. I can't, are they going to go Ali Sanchez and Wells the rest of the way? Like, is that what we're doing now? I mean, Escara doesn't get moved. I mean, I don't know what's out there, you know. Mike Nix, isn't Casey Schmidt hurt? I think he just got hurt, if I'm not wrong. But so I mean, I know the running joke earlier this morning. So there you go. Killer Cam said Tyler Stevenson is better than nothing, I guess. The running joke this morning was, oh, Tyler Stevenson is going to be like an embarrassing, kind of situation for the Yankees if that's where they go to address the catching position. And as of right now, I think I would rather have that than nothing.
For sure.
He's not a great defensive catcher though, so I was looking at his numbers earlier. He's a slightly above average. Whoa, there goes Connor. Stevenson, a slightly above average offensive catcher, but the defensive numbers did not look good. So, I can't foresee him getting a ton of run going forward. But I think Connor is back in the game, and he has returned. I was saying Stevenson is a slightly above average offensive catcher, but in terms of his defense, it's not good. So I don't know how much of a fit that is for the Yankees. I know they value defense at that position a lot more than they do the offense, clearly, since they've been running with Wells for so long. But
all right, yeah, let's do a fun thought experiment here. Imagine a scenario where we don't add anyone meaningful from this point forward, and it's just a doom and gloom deadline for us. What would have to happen in terms of performances and injury and for our team to be a legitimate contender? Like, you need Austin Wells to find it at the plate. You need Austin Wells to figure it out as an offensive catcher. You're basically hoping that happens.
He's not going to. Yeah. They're going to need the top of the order to carry the load, and they're going to need the pitching to keep runs at a premium from the opposition. And that's how they're going to have to win games. They're going to have to hope for a Judge or a Stanton Baum. Maybe Ben Rice runs into something. One of their platoon guys like Ramos or, Ahmed Rosario at third base maybe pokes one out against a lefty. They're going to need something like that because, the days of hoping Wells figures this out, in 2026, I mean, it's not happening. It would have happened already. But, I know he's been coming alive a little bit more recently, but this is probably just a blip in the radar because the larger body of work for him this season has been very unimpressive. So, that's a guy they're going to hope manages the pitching staff well, has good framing, can throw runners out, drop and block, breaking ball in the dirt, 2 strikes. Also, Wells is going to have to just be handle the staff and be a defensive catcher kind of guy because anything offensively.
He has been that. It's just a matter of his OPS starts with a 5. And so, he has left 0 to be desired from a defensive catcher perspective. It's just he's so bad with the bat right now, and he wasn't always. I mean,
last year he had
shown flashes, but also you're begging for some of the bad years he had in the past. Two kind of mid seasons he had.
Yeah, last year he had 25 bombs and 70 ribs, I think, right? Something like that.
So it's possible, man. I mean, if you can find that for a stretch, and you couple that with the defense.
Is it a Wells problem or is it the league has figured out how to get him out?
It's a Wells problem. You can't. No, if you're a major leaguer, you can't justify a 500 OPS no matter what position you're playing. Even a catcher, that's too. It's pathetic, and you can't chalk it up to an adjustment.
I agree. I'm looking at JTank1562 from YouTube. Thanks for subscribing, my man. For the rest of you, if you're watching on Twitter, find the YouTube page. I posted the link earlier. Subscribe to this channel. We're on the road to 400. We're almost there. We'd love to get to 500 one of these days, but appreciate you guys being in here. Thanks for chiming in this chat. We're kind of glancing at Twitter and in the TV as we're kind of going on here to make sure we don't miss any deals. So we appreciate you guys in there. Like this video. Leave a comment under the video and subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate that. JTank1562 says Spencer Jones should be playing every day, every inning. No more platoon. Dump Grisham. Flush him. Problem is $22 million. Grisham's going to play. I mean, Jones is, he's on a heater right now, but he's still an unproven young guy. But I do like the defense. I just don't think with what they're paying Grisham, that they'd go off of him and just go Jones the rest of the way. I don't see that. Maybe next year, maybe 2027, if there is a next year. But as of right now, I don't see that. The Evan Real Miriam man. Sorry, I'm just completely butchering these names. Do we really believe that Adley's medicals were bad enough to make him a no-go for the Yankees? I dreamt of him in the Yankee uniform. Seeing him go to the Red Sox is agonizing. Hard to tell. Obviously the Red Sox thought it was good enough to make the move, and they gave up a lot to get him. So, Yankees and medicals, do we really trust anything that they think about medical-wise? Their opinions usually aren't accurate there. So, interesting situation, though. Brighter Dark says, isn't Adley only batting 200? I think his OPS is like 730, 740, something like that. Devs16 says Judge is truly out for the season, and they're not selling out for a year where Judge isn't healthy. I still think he's coming back, man. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm coping. Maybe this is, some copium, but I think they're going to say here shortly that they're going to get him re-imaged within the week, probably, and he can start baseball activities in like the end of August. I'm assuming that's my hope.
I also think that you can't waste the current rotation right now. I think whether you have a healthier Judge or not, like with the way the American League is, our pitching is absolutely elite. It's not the kind of rotation you have when you punt on a season. So we love Judge. Judge is a major superstar, and losing him is not nothing. But even in hypothetical, we knew we had Judge out for the year. Like, I'm sorry, you got Garrett Cole, Cam Schlittler, Max Fried, not all in their prime, but pitching like they're in their prime right now. And you got Rodon coming back. The hope is that, I think you mentioned it earlier, Johnny, you were talking about like Weathers and Warren in the bullpen if everyone's healthy. Like, maybe if we had a catcher here, we actually are kind of ready to rock, because if those guys can come in and be legitimate back end guys for us and carry the load where guys like Cruz have been kind of faltering, it's enough to kind of start dreaming on it at least. But no, I don't think even if Judge is out for longer than we think, are the Yankees in a mode where they're trying to sell on the year. If we were, we'd be selling. If we were, we'd be trading guys we'd be moving off guys, not adding guys. We are adding. We're just not adding the guys we want or the number of guys we want.
Elio Ramos is official. Just tweeted from Passan.
Saw it.
So that is officially official.
Garcia had a press conference and is wearing Yankees gear on the field right now.
There you go. I'm excited to watch him hit.
Yeah, he can mash, dude. He can certainly mash righties.
If you look at his spray chart, he hits a lot of balls to right field.
Yep.
A lot of low liners too down the line. So he's going to get some benefit from the short porch for sure. So now we got a right-handed outfield bat, 800 OPS against right-hand pitching. Against left-handed pitching. I don't hate it, but I've never been a big fan of platoons. I think baseball players are creatures of habit. You need to play every day to stay in rhythm. One at bat carries into another, one walk carries into, another at bat. It's a rhythm and a flow thing. So, if you're constantly pulling guys, sitting guys in and out, some guys, don't love that. So it's hard to get consistent flow and rhythm when you're constantly in and out of the lineup, which is, I thought Caballero was really good earlier this season. Once Volpe started getting back, they started doing the in and out stuff, moving Caballero around. His offense kind of took a dip there. Maybe that was just him regressing back to the mean, like we all thought he would. Maybe that was, his playing time and his, predictability defensively where he was going to be playing, kind of leaked into his offense there. But, we'll see how these platoons work, man. You got McMahon and Rosario at third. We got a logjam at first base /DH. We now have a right-handed bat in the outfield. And this is kind of like the Austin Slater kind of move that they did last year. Mm-hmm. Right-handed outfielder who can face lefties and hopefully crush them. So, against lefties, it's looking like Goldschmidt at first, right? Hopefully, Stanton DH, maybe. Who the hell knows? Ramos in left field, I'm assuming. Rosario at third base. So we definitely have a lineup against righties and a lineup against lefties. Guys have their roles. You know, they know where they're going to be going. So hopefully it all plays out, man. Reading some tweets really quick. Everyone's favorite Yankee fan, Earl. This honestly might be the worst deadline I can remember for the Yankees. This is worse than 2023 and 19. I mean, I think the Yankees are very comfortable with what they have, you know, around the infield, in the lineup, and in the pitching staff. You know, I think they trust their guys. We're going to hear that from Cashman at some point. We like who we have in house. You know, our rotation is one of the best in baseball. Our bullpen's performing well.
I think they're going to play up the moves they did make. I think they're going to play up Garcia a lot. They're going to try to point to the moves they made and say, "What did you want us to do? We made good moves. We like our moves." That's what they're going to say.
Oh, at John M 4453. This is painfully fucking accurate. Just imagining Jazz and Wells failing to drive in runners from third with one out all postseason. Fuck, man.
It could be a short postseason if that's the case. Yeah.
God, that just happens so much, and it drives me absolutely fucking insane. Blake says not a catcher, but okie dokie. We're hearing Ramos deal looks good. Pitching staff can without Judge, provided that 6, 7, 8, and 9 aren't giant fucking hemorrhoids from Sean 2025X. The bottom of this lineup, you know, no matter what happens going forward, if this is really it, the bottom of the lineup's rough, man. So I hope the top part of the lineup understands the assignment and comes through, because do not count on the lower half of that lineup to produce fucking anything at all. Let's see. So, reading some tweets here really quick and see. Okay, Heyman saying Ramos the Yankees as well. Not sure what the return is. Let's see. Henry Lalaine is believed to be the prospect in that deal. So, you know, a decently regarded minor league pitcher for the Yankees, getting shipped to San Francisco for a platoon outfield bat. What do you think about that?
I mean, it makes our offense better for the time being, at a time where we really need to have some help on offense and to have some flexibility. I think it's a mistake to look at these things from the prism of how does this affect our postseason roster, because it doesn't. It shouldn't. The hope is it won't. And if it does, then we're in a bad spot, and it's going to be a short stint anyway. But it's nice to not give up that much and to make an improvement for the next month. It's going to have an impact, hopefully, on some wins that we need to get with Boston breathing down our necks. So that's what I think about that. I wish I had more for you, man. It's a good but not great move. There's been 2 of those, and I wish there were at least 5.
I think it does. I think it does play in the October conversation, because, you know, I keep thinking ahead to a potential Dodger series. You know, I'm not saying the Yankees are going to cakewalk to the World Series at all. I'm not saying that, but you got to figure if you get through the American League, you're going to face the Dodgers. And you're going to get Skubal in game 1 probably, and then you're going to get Snell in game 3. You know, now we have a right-handed bat in the outfield that we can start against those guys who, you know, is going to be a little bit better option than Trent Grisham. I think that's a win, right?
Yeah.
You got more of a chance on that at bat than you did when Grisham was up there.
That's true. That's a good point with the matchups for sure. He may get some run in the postseason, absolutely. Even with a healthy roster, you see him playing?
You know, because I think when Bellinger comes back, it's going to be Bellinger, Grisham, Judge when he's healthy, and Ramos out there. I think Spencer Jones gets sent back down.
I'm having a hard time thinking right now as I read the chat and I look at Twitter. Have the vibes ever been worse around a deadline?
The vibes are pretty bad right now. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I think it's because the gaping holes and the needs are so obvious. And the Yankees have, you know, assets that they can move to improve this team. A Will Warren, a Weathers, a Cunningham, a Ben Hess, a Rodriguez in the minors. Like, they've got guys that other teams would be interested in, and they're just saying, no, we're going to keep them. And the rest of you can fuck off. We like what we got. We're going to run with it. So, you know, the team's outlook right now seems to be a lot different than the fans' outlook. And Yankee fans, we always want the big deadline. We always want the sexy picks, the big players. But we're not even asking for that this time. We're just asking to patch some holes, man.
Mm-hmm.
There are still some pretty gaping holes in this roster. We've got a little over 30 minutes left, and it's
No
not looking good.
catcher.
Dude. The Rockies asked for Goodman's probably too high, I'm assuming, and I don't think the Twins are going to move Jeffers, so we're pretty fucked unless Tyler Stevenson is your cup of tea.
I'll
But
take anyone. I think we need to add a catcher. Like any catcher. Someone.
Yeah.
I want another die to roll, even if they're all question marks. It's a question. It's a difference between rolling 1 or 2 dice versus rolling 3 or 4. And I feel like right now it's such a glaring need just to have even a halfway decent major league level bat available at catcher. Not even necessarily catching every day. Like even if we add a guy, unless we add a star, Wells is going to get some time behind the plate. Like So, but like having one additional option would be such a boon for us right now. No pun intended.
So, is Ali Sanchez just the de facto catcher against lefties now?
Dude, he's so bad.
I mean, how do you not send him down after that decision he made a couple games ago?
I don't know. He had a day with 3 hits at one point. I don't know. Boone's like, he can hit. Drives me insane when you have guys like Escara that are just like universally bad at hitting, and Boone's asked about him, and he's like, you can hit. It's like, really?
We keep hearing about it. We keep hearing about it, and it never materializes. Didn't he like grow up with Nestor in Florida or something? And they're like, hey, Escara, that Escara guy, he could fucking hit, man. You'll see. Yeah, we haven't seen shit, buddy. Get the fuck out of here. Let's read some comments here. I saw Mr. Washington National. That's my buddy on Twitter. He said Reds GM is the only one who could save Cashman in terms of a Stevenson deal. And with them knowing that there's probably not another catcher on the market that they're going to make the Yankees will make a deal for. I mean, maybe the Reds say, give us fucking Will Warren for Tyler Stevenson. And that's in my opinion, that's a big overpay. So that would be pretty ugly. I don't know. Is Tyler Stevenson controllable or is he on the way out? I have no fucking idea. But, we got about 30 minutes to go, and some of these teams are going to hold the Yankees' feet to the fire here.
Yeah, here. I need like a minute. I'll be right back. You keep reading the comments. I'll be right back, man. 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. Have your minute. Well, boys and girls, it's just us. Just kidding. Yeah, man, pretty lackluster, deadline so far to this point. Kind of disappointing. The Ramos thing, I'm sitting here thinking about maybe it's a pretty decent deal against lefties. It gives us an option to sit Grisham, and get a more, I don't know, capable bat in there in the lineup against left-handers in a potential October series. But, it's not sexy, that's for sure. And it looks like Yankees are going to hold on to most of their pitching prospects. And I thought coming into this deadline, I thought the Yankees surplus of pitching in terms of Warren, Weathers, you got Hess, Cunningham, Rodriguez, they have guys that they can move to acquire talent. And they haven't done so far, other than Lalane. That's the only one. Hey, there we go. Lalane is the only guy who's been moved so far to, quote unquote, improve the team. So, maybe that changes here in the next, 30 minutes or so. Shit's going to get hot and heavy. And, right when the deadline hits, they're going to reel in like probably 5 to 10 deals that got in right before the buzzer. So we will be here with you for that one right up until that deadline. Let's see, acquired by Red Sox from Giants. So the Red Sox got a left-handed pitcher named Eric Miller, 2-0 with a 2.76 ERA in 38 games. So Red Sox got another good player, and he's left-handed. And we're going to see him against Ben Rice, and we're going to see him against McMahon, and we're going to see him against Bellinger and Wells and all the other lefties in this lineup, including Jazz Chisholm. So other teams understand what they're going to have to face going forward, and so other teams are getting good, other teams are getting better, adding more depth, and we are pretty much going to stand pat. Brian Cashman is a pussy. What a Twitter name. Says Curry. Curry said Luis Garcia Jr. is the biggest move. So they're done.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. I know Curry's very plugged in, but sometimes he'll throw out a smoke screen like that, and something ends up happening. So I'm still holding out hope. We got about 36 minutes to go. Shit's gonna get hot and heavy here pretty soon. If not the Yankees, other teams. And there's still a Nito to the Red Sox kind of thing floating around. We don't know what else the Rays might do. Are the Rangers going to give away an Eovaldi or a Mova Seeger or some of those other guys? So a lot of interesting things to see here.
Yes, Network right now has Jack Curry on there talking to Bob Lorenz or someone, and the headline is both Ben Rice and Luis Garcia are in top 3 of AL in slugging. It's like they play the same position and they bat lefty. I don't know. It'd be great. I mean, how often are we going to have them both in the lineup? One of them's DHing, one of them's playing first, and Goldie's out, and if Sam's back, he's out. But I mean, that's what we're going to see against righties. I'm guessing is first base DH.
Oh shit!
Ben Rice.
The Red Sox traded Marcelo Meyer.
Oh wow!
So was that the big piece for that lefty reliever then?
Let's see.
Interesting. Let's do a little digging here then. Wow, that's pretty telling if that's what went in that deal, because I know for a while it was him and the other left-handed fuck that they have.
Also of interest, the other player included in the Helio Ramos deal from the Yankees was prospect Caden Kent.
Oh, okay.
Number 13 prospect.
Not too bad. I mean,
so fifth and number 5 and number 13 for Helio Ramos.
Heyman said 2 minutes ago the Yankees are still inquiring on right-handed hitters after Ramos, so there might be more coming. Bullpen help and backup catchers.
Yeah.
So things.
Before we wait, or if I'm bothering researching, let me know. But did you see the Bob Nightingale tweet about Adley? He basically just confirmed the Adley Rutschman deal to the Red Sox, and his last little tag at the end was "warm up the duck boats," and it's like,
because
what does that mean? It's like, hold on, no, he's talking about his reference to when the Red Sox win the World Series, they have a parade on the river, on the bay, and it's like, are you saying this is like the final piece of a championship team? Like adding Adley Rutschman to the Red Sox, like what a crazy call that is from a objective reporter. It's insane.
Nick says backup catchers with a million question marks. Yeah, man, it's. I mean, who is out there? I mean, I swear to God, if it's Higgy, I'm gonna lose my shit. I like the guy, nice guy, but come on, bro.
Yeah,
come on, bro. The Red Sox are going for it, man. I know we have a lot of Cam Schlittler versus the Red Sox feud kind of shit that goes on, and he kind of owns them. But they are not afraid of Max Fried, and they are not afraid of Garrett Cole. So, it's if we end up facing them in a playoff series, it is going to be tough.
Home field will be so important. Where like the expectation for me playing the Red Sox in the playoffs changes so dramatically depending on whether we're playing at home or playing in Fenway. Like,
oh, dude,
we're playing in Fenway, I expect to lose.
Going to Fenway would be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I expect to lose in Fenway.
Absolute nightmare. Jack Curry says we have discussed the Ramos news. 835 OPS versus left-handed pitching. He hit a combined 43 home runs in 24 and 25. So a little bit of hyping up mid there. We're hyping mid. But hey, if we end up facing the Dodgers in some miracle fucking World Series and he hits a bomb off School Bowl, I will lick the floor beneath me with a smile on my face. So I hope it, I mean we're not going to sit here and we're obviously I will be crawling on all fours, bowing down to my real biological father, Brian Cashman. And just doing very strange, weird things. as you have seen, because we stayed in the same Airbnb before, so.
It's true, multiple times.
Steak for breakfast. That's one of my buddies on Twitter as well. What the fuck are we doing, man? I don't know. I think we are going to hear the dreaded response from Brian Cashman after this whole thing. That's going to be, we didn't want to swim in those waters with, the type of prospects that teams were asking for. We believe in our guys internally. We believe we have a World Series caliber championship team, blah, blah, blah. Garcia is one of the best slugging percentage guys in baseball. Ramos is one of the best right-handed outfield bats available to face lefties, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be a lot of what we're going to get. So the only thing I'm holding, I think the whole catcher thing is pie in the sky now. I don't think it's going to happen. But if they can snag some reclamation project reliever that throws gas and fix him real quick, I'd be happy with that. Mm-hmm. But for the love of Christ, don't be another Doval situation. Can't do another one of those. That was a absolute train wreck. I mean, look what happened. Jake Bird and Doval, who were both acquisitions last year, are already shipped out of town. So neither of those worked. And they shipped off Cruz in that deal to Washington. So we're going to need some arms here. But, Rodon is getting close to coming back. So either Weathers or Warren are going to go to the pen. There could be some reinforcements for that bullpen coming up. I know LeGrand's close to throwing, or I think he's been throwing. He's going to get a little bit closer to coming back. So who the hell knows? Mr. Washington National said, Lord forbid you have to give up good young players for proven talent in this league. And that's something Brian Cashman has always been very reluctant to do. I think one of the more surprising deals he pulled off with giving things up was Michael King, along with Brito and Vasquez in that Juan Soto deal. But he's
last year he went out and got Bednar last year.
He did.
I think there were
what did he give up for that though? What did we give up for that?
It's fair to say he never gives up. They're clearly very resistant to not winning the deal, to not feeling like they're winning a deal, and that stops them from making a lot of deals we want them to make for sure. That's definitely fair.
I think he's talking more like a Legrand, Warren. Because Warren, he's got really good stuff and he's an innings eater. He misses the spot and he gets hurt there, but they were never going to move a Lombard Jr. for a Miller. They were never going to move a Legrand. They were never going to move, some of those guys. Maybe Rodriguez, since they got him in a trade, maybe they could move. They'd move him. They just moved Lalane, kind of a long, lanky, tall, left-handed kind of guy with some promise. They were willing to move him, but the top guys, they're pretty reluctant to do that in past years. So, I mean, look what happened with Volpe. How many trade scenarios before he finally got a shot did we hear? There was the Matt Olson stuff. There was the Luis Castillo stuff. They were just shooting everything down. But I'm just checking here really quick to make sure there's no other deals. Just the Red Sox finalizing the trade to acquire Eric Miller from the Giants for Marcelo Meyer. Deal is pending medicals. Okay. So as of right now, that's about all we got floating around. Joel Sherman says, without being able to complete deals in the main aisle, ouch. The Yankees seem to be trying to give Boone as many platoon edges as possible. Ramos with an 835 OPS versus lefties. Garcia Jr. 918 OPS versus right-hand pitching. They are still shopping for one reliever. So kind of what we alluded to earlier. It's going to be a lot of platoon stuff. It's going to be a lot of playing matchups. It's going to be a lot of relying on Aaron Boone to push the right buttons. Do we trust him enough to do that? Don't make me bring it up.
I mean, we don't. We don't always. He's capable of it at times, but no, we don't trust him.
So hopefully this reliever they're seeking, it's going to have good arm, good breaking ball, something. Because we need to mix and match a little bit better in the late innings in terms of setup. Looking through some comments, Brighter Dark sends a tell to the Brewers. It's a pretty decent ad. Mark Dries says, when does George Lombard come up? I think if he comes up after August 15th, then they get an extra year of control. So they're probably going to wait the 12 days until that date comes by.
You think he will come up, though? I really hope he does. Do you really think that after that date he will come up?
Yeah. I think they know that there's a gaping hole there with Caballero and Volpe both floundering offensively, and if nothing else, Lombard Jr. is going to be a dynamic defensive shortstop day one, and then any type of offense he provides is going to be a plus. So I think that's probably there's been some rumors about it too the last couple of weeks. Yankees considering it. He's down there in the minors and he's hitting really well. I think the other day he had like 3 or 4 hits. He hit a homer or something like that. So he's ready. The time is now. It just depends if they trust him in the playoffs or not. Let's see. Everyone is saying probably never on the Lombard call-up. Send it to the Brewers. Decent ad there. Guardians are actually buying. Who'd the Guardians get? Did I miss something there?
You got Joe Adell.
Yeah, got Joe Adell. Guardians acquire Foster Griffin. Washington Nationals starter Foster Griffin has just been informed that he is a Cleveland Guardian. All right, so there's that. Looking, I don't know how many other big fish are out there to be moved right now, but we've already seen, obviously, Skubal Dodgers. We've seen Soriano to the Jays, which is surprising. Arias to the Phils, Ward to the Mariners, Joe Adell to the Guardians, Varsho to the Astros, Luis Castillo to the White Sox. So, some names are being traded. Gossman to the Cubs. Jameson Taillon, I think, went to the Blue Jays. But Clay Holmes and Taylor going to the Cubs. So, names are moving, man. Some of them got done early. So, I don't know, these next 25-ish minutes, there's going to be any heavy last-minute deals. But we will be here the whole time. Let's see. Vibes are so bad. Blake says vibes are so bad that when they sign a mid-ass player at the buzzer who doesn't solve a problem, we'll all convince ourselves he is better than he is. Probably not wrong there.
Pretty much what we're doing. That's pretty much been the show.
Mark Dry says need to prepare Warren and Weathers for the bullpen. Absolutely. And that's what I liked about Weathers when they first got him is he has experience doing that. He's done it before. So, he'll have an idea of getting back into a bullpen type rhythm, how to get his body prepared for it, when to mentally get ready during a game, probably around the 5th or 6th inning, start, stretching, get it moving, you want to be ready. So hopefully he can, if Weathers and Warren both go to the bullpen, hopefully Weathers can, show Warren the ropes a little bit and help him, get accustomed to that role. Because come playoff time, man, when your name is called and you come out of that bullpen during a fire drill, it's time to fucking perform. It's fuck or walk, and you cannot walk. So get ready to fuck. Let's see. Gabe says, fuck this team. A lot of people are mad right now, man. A lot of anger in these comments. Seen it on Twitter, too. Mark Dries also says we need a closer to back up Bednar. So a hybrid setup man role. Do we believe in Blackman to be that guy the rest of the way? Blackburn, sorry, not Blackman. My bad.
I was Blackman.
Paul Blackburn.
Like Justin Blackman, the former receiver for the Jaguars.
Yes, dude. Tell me why that's the name that popped in my head.
Yeah. I was Blackman with an O. Yeah, no, I don't. Look, he's a guy. Like he's a valuable piece for the bullpen, but the problem is we lack the confidence in the back end guys before Bednar right now. And boy, I think right now the solution, unfortunately, is going to be Will Warren and Ryan Weathers developing into elite back end relievers for us, and that's a double win if that can happen because it allows you to kind of have Rodon as your fourth starter. But what do you do in the meantime? You can't just drop them in once the postseason starts into the bullpen and expect them to be at their best coming out of the pen. But in the meantime, you need at least one of them to start, even with a fully healthy staff. So, but I think, I don't know. I mean, Weathers has experience in the bullpen before. We've given Warren some run. I think he had one appearance out of the bullpen this season. Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Looked good enough. I think he got pulled before he finished the inning, but still looked pretty good.
Looks like the Jays just sent Jeff Hoffman to the Twins.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Miguel Rojas's son just got sent to the Twins.
What a bum.
Oh
Nice.
man, talk about a legend in Blue Jays history. That guy.
Yeah.
The Martian says ERC should not pitch at the major league level again this year. He should have been traded, man. There's got to be someone out there who's into him. I really thought he'd be a good chip to move for a quality bat or something. Same with Will Warren. They're coming from a place of, quote unquote depth, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
Why not move some of those desirable arms? And Zay made a good point too. Clark Schmidt's coming back soon. Is that another bullpen arm?
Has to be.
Do you go Warren, Weathers, and Schmidt as your bullpen guys?
I mean, we're starting to kind of trundle onto this. Like the reason why we haven't added more bullpen arms is because of these guys we have and the depth of our pitching overall. But they're putting a lot of faith in our ability to make these guys effective relievers.
Which is not easy.
Not it's you don't just snap your fingers and have that happen.
Exactly.
But
very true. Very true.
We have a lot of arms, though. We do have a lot of arms.
So let's say Warren, Weathers, Schmidt, and LaGrange are your bullpen additions.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you got to start that experiment now. You got to see what you have and allow these guys to emerge. You can't just put that off.
So
hopefully that's what we see over the next few weeks. We kind of have to, right? We kind of have to. Hopefully we get a LaGrange, George Lombard dual call up at one point, and then we can just say let's ride, and we can have those guys develop a little bit before we have a postseason scenario where they're potentially featured and they can earn their way on, but also continue developing because they haven't pitched or played at this level, and it's going to require a bit more than just looking at their AAA stats and hoping they're good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. I think I know why they didn't go for a catcher here. This is from Yes Network. This is the graphic they put up. Austin Wells in his last 36 games, he's hitting .280 with 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, and a .925 OPS. So they think he found it.
Since June 6th.
Yeah.
It's almost 2 months.
So they think he found it. Did he find it? Who the hell knows?
I didn't know that his numbers were that good over the last 2 months. I had no idea.
But do you gamble, do you risk him going back down to what he's been doing after this heater? Or do you stand pat, we like what he does defensively and we think he's figured something out going forward? It's kind of the risk they just took right now.
Yeah. I mean, he is very good defensively. That's all I'm going to say.
And it's we've said this before. We've brought it up before. It's so crazy that he came up as this offensive catcher type who probably would get moved to first base eventually.
Yeah,
awful defender, so bad at defense. Now he is the defensive catcher, and we're hoping he hits more. Which judging by this graphic, looks like he has been recently. But man, you're really rolling the dice there going forward that he's found it. Because if he hasn't, you got a hole at third, you got a hole at short, you got Jazz who's not hitting, and you got a catcher who can't hit either. So, one of those positions needs to figure it out. Hopefully, Wells did. He's a guy that you and me both before have liked in terms of his potential offensively. He showed good power. Sometimes he's willing to go the other way, but he's gotten over the last several months and before this heater, he got very pull happy. He chops everything to second base. He pops everything up. He's missing fastballs down the middle. I posted one the other day. He got a 94-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle. He popped it up. So, hopefully he's,
turn the corner.
He's turned the corner. It's right in front of him. But if he does start hitting, that'd be great because one less hole that we got to worry about in that lineup. And, it might be another month and a half until we see Judge or Stanton again.
It's literally what I was telling you earlier. I was like, what would have to happen for this to be okay? And it's like, if Wells can find it or something. And it was like, what's your way? I'd say there's about a 20% chance of that happening. 1 in 5.
So the Yankees probably see that. They're like, you know what? We don't need to move assets for, top assets for a Goodman from Colorado. And what if Colorado said include Lombard Jr. or fuck off?
They probably did.
Then it was never going to happen anyways. So,
Yeah, probably what happened with a lot of teams, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Brian Cashman hasn't been on the phone. He just hasn't agreed to a deal, and we'll never know the reasons why. Not fully, but we do know the pattern. The pattern is he wants to win the deal, and if they feel like there's a path
No,
that
there's a
can
Yankee
lead
tag.
them to be successful that doesn't require them dumping their farm talent, then they're going to take that path.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking through some of these comments, Larky says, "I guarantee Goodman price was sky high." Yeah, man, and it should be because I believe in that same graphic where they showed Garcia Jr. and Rice both having two of the best slugging percentages in baseball. Goodman was also on that list, so it's not going to be a situation where they're going to give him away for peanuts. Steak for breakfast says Wells leagues the galaxy in 3-0 and first pitch swing pop-ups. Feels that way. Nick says Wells is dog piss. Most of his season has been. You're not wrong there. Larky says I never thought he would be a glove first catcher. I don't think anybody did. It's totally backwards from what everyone thought it would be, which goes to show you it's an inexact science, which we've seen a lot with Yankee prospects. Oh, this is the chosen one. This is the next such and such. Untouchable guy. Can't move him. He's the best. And then a few years go by. I'm surprised Jason Dominguez hasn't been moved.
Yeah, I thought that would happen today, actually. We didn't talk about that, but I thought that was almost a guarantee once they started adding these bats that they would move off Dominguez. But yeah, looks like it's not going to happen. Looks like we're coming down to it right now. I feel like if we'd be hearing rumors right now if something was going to happen, because we're coming up with a deadline where things have to actually be finalized. Like they have to have all these things docu-signed by 6 p.m. Eastern. So
it has to be what's the word I'm looking for here?
The ink has to be dry. Pencils down at 6.
You can announce the agreement after 6, but it has to be in writing before that.
Yes, correct.
I'm assuming.
Correct. Yeah.
So Mr. Washington Nash says, I don't know if Yankees Twitter could survive them not acquiring a catcher. That's like the biggest ask. Well, we're gonna have to, because there's no great catcher walking through that door. And Yes Network is parading around showing Austin Wells stats since June 6th. So I think Yankees Twitter is gonna have to fucking eat a fat one. Larky said, is it Blarky or B Larky? I'm just trying to read it out. I will say his contract has been much, much better. He just hits his second base every time. Contact, not contract. My bad. Wells is streaky. Lack of urgency deadline gives me a bad feeling about Judge's health. I don't know if it's lack of urgency as much as it is they really like the group they have. Honestly, I mean, they feel like they have one of the best rotations in baseball. The bullpen, numbers wise, is one of the best in the league. They have good offensive players coming back. They got guys they're comfortable with at different positions in terms of, platooning going forward. So they like their matchups. I don't think they feel the need to drastically change, what they got right now. So, but like I said earlier, it's a complete disconnect between what they think and what the fans think. Steak for breakfast says, what I don't want to see with Weathers and Warren is like what happened with Holmes and Weaver. They think they're starters, and the Yankees are inconsistent with when and how they use them, and then they become inept and leave the team hated. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Holmes's problem was he blew a lot of saves, and there was a lot of discussions. There was a lot of discussions about, it's just bad luck. It's just
Austin Wells' problem as a hitter is that he just doesn't hit the ball that hard.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes he does hit it hard. He just hits it right at somebody.
Clay Holmes' biggest issue is that he wasn't good at pitching. No, I mean, like,
he was a good reliever, not a good closer.
Yes, totally.
Very different roles, but the debates with him are constantly, he's getting BABIP to death. It's all soft contact. It's just bad luck. Give him a chance. But when you blow like 14 saves, then it's like, okay, we got to figure something out here. And then Weaver went out the door all pissed off because the Yankees were saying, hey, buddy, you're over here tipping your pitches. Other people were blaming the hamstring injury. And, others were saying he's healed. He should be fine now. So there were just a lot of, bad blood there. But he's going to Pittsburgh, so who gives a shit? Zay says when Clark comes back, move Warren and Weathers to the pen. Be ready for October.
Yeah.
JG997, my alerts are blowing up with moves every other team is making besides the Yankees. What the fuck? Yeah, that makes me want to look. Diamondbacks are acquiring Lars Nootbaar from the Cardinals. So there you go there. I think that's the latest deal. Mickey Moniak has not been moved. They're just talking about him. Okay. Padres trying to land Nootbaar, Burleson, or Trevor Larnack to fill lefty needs. So I think we are pretty much caught up in terms of deals. Lars Nootbaar, that's a dude you don't really hear about anymore, right? Wasn't he supposed to be like a really good player and he just didn't figure it out?
Good defensively.
I remember him being like really good buddies with Ben Verlander during the WBC. Remember that? I think Nootbaar played for Japan, and they were like Ben Verlander was following around Japan like a puppy, and they were like Nootbaar and Ben are just fucking great buddies, and they were like dapping each other up like nonstop for like 10 minutes, and they put it on Twitter, and they were like, "This is the most cringe like." The most cringe meeting of all time, but
yeah,
I think the only player
they also kind of looked alike, so it was like, oh my god, they had a room. Yeah,
I think the only player outside of Otani that Ben Verlander would do anything for would be Lars Nootbaar.
Yo, Lars Nootbaar, just looked him up. He's from El Segundo.
Oh shit! Okay.
Anyway,
really good Top Golf down there. I got to tell you.
Yeah,
right
really terrible airport.
Honestly. I mean, it's been pretty good to me lately. I've been enjoying my LAX time. The line I got into in Terminal 5 at JFK to come back home a couple weeks last week was absolute fucking craziness. And thank God I got there 2 hours early, or else I was fucked. Yeah, needless to say, I don't look forward to that again.
All right. Well, we're coming down to it, man. I mean, if there is a deal that's already going to be in place in the next 10 minutes, we would be hearing rumors, I think.
There's a lot to trickle in right after. So I expect to hear like 3 or 4 deals pop in any minute now. The late reported ones, but fuck, man, the Yankees are really done, huh?
Feels like it.
This is what we're rolling with against Scooble. Are you ready for that?
Feels like it.
You look dialed in on such a scenario. But I'm going to throw it out there right now on the old Twitter sphere. Yankees bullpen, options going forward. Weathers, Warren, Schmidt, LeGrand, right? Sounds about right. Yankees bullpen options going forward. Let's throw it out there. Let's see what the old Twitter sphere has to think. This is the behind the scenes look at me throwing bullshit on Twitter, just in case you ever wonder what that looked like. And then I get called slurs, and then Connor gets called, certain things for his profile picture, and we're just chilling. But didn't someone try to cook you about holding a trophy in your profile picture or something? Like it was edited or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, you really got him there, man.
I have the guy who's on the Jerry Carabas podcast, the Coley Nick, whatever his name is, when I got flamed because he was trying to say Cam Schlittler, he wanted him to get hurt. He was absolutely giving belt to the Red Sox in the playoffs. Yeah. We got into it one time, and I thought it was pretty friendly, and then he was like, figures you're a Yankees and Bulls fan, and I was like, what? Bulls fan? Which I'm not. Chicago Bulls. And it was like, I have Michael Jordan in my profile picture dunking over Aaron Hicks in the IKF into a World Series trophy, which apparently means I'm a Bulls fan, but that was kind of funny.
Known Chicago Bulls fan, Connor McGuire.
Huge Bulls fan.
I say CMAG because when I go to search your name in there, that's what I type out, and then you pop up. If I put Connor, it doesn't show up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So if I try to type in your last name, it doesn't show up. So I'm like, how the fuck do I find this guy? So
I don't want to be found.
You are incognito mode on the Twitter sphere, just so in case you wanted. Oh, we have some quotes here. Helio Ramos said, if they traded for me, it's because they want me, obviously. Whoa.
Hot take.
Whew, this guy is, very well spoken. So I'm very proud. It's the Yankees at the end of the day. That's an organization that when you're a kid and you're Puerto Rican, everybody knows about it. Everybody wants it. Yeah, there's a huge love for the Yankees in the Dominican and Puerto Rico. So, look at Fernando Cruz. Look how fired up he is to be a Yankee. He absolutely loves it. So, he's a guy that is going to enjoy being there. We got Luis Garcia Jr., who's from New York, so he's going to love being there as well. So it is going to fit in. They are going to fit in just fine. We got about 5 minutes left. I am refreshing the Twitter sphere. I'm looking at my television and nothing yet. So we're going to see what unfolds here in the next 10 minutes or so.
It'll be really
Sean,
funny. Go ahead.
Sean 2025 X says Red Sox having the deadline Yankees fans expected. You're not going out on a limb there, man. That's pretty true. The Red Sox went for it. They got a good reliever. They got a really good catcher. They're solid. I'm surprised the Nito thing didn't materialize after they put it on TV, but they look good. The Rays got better.
Hey, really quick. What's the area of baseball where the Red Sox are better than the Yankees? What's the area?
That's the thing is you can't. I mean,
give me one phase. Is the bullpen? Is their bullpen better than ours? Is that it?
They have a good one. I mean, it's debatable. Whitlock, Chapman. Now you got this Miller guy.
Yeah,
trying to think.
I guess that's it, right? But our offense is better. You would argue.
I mean, it's on paper we have the better team.
Pitching is better. Pitching's their strength. It's our strength. We're better at pitching. I don't know, man. They got better they got better than we did at the deadline, but it's not like that's not going to decide who.
Oh, that's Tyson Guerrero. Yeah, he throws 103, by the way.
So there you go. The bullpen's better, but we're better in every other phase. I'm not saying we should be happy with what happened. I'm not happy with what happened.
Nick said the whole sport of baseball. I mean,
that's funny.
They're kind of this,
not true.
Scrappy group that kicked the shit out of us at Fenway, and if we have to go there and again in the playoffs, I'm not going to be happy about it.
They also have a negative run differential, so, or at least they do. They? I don't know.
Also,
it's not nearly. It's way below ours, but I'm just saying.
They also just swept the Dodgers at LAD.
Okay.
So I'm not going to sit here and say that they're better than us because I think we have the better roster, but I would not be surprised if they matched up against us pretty well in the playoff series. The Red Sox and Rays aren't better than us. They just invested in making a run more than we did, and we're banged up to oblivion.
For sure.
That's a good point.
That's totally fair. That's it. That's exactly right.
Sean says, Wells, Volpe, Weathers, Warren for Hunter Goodman and Mason Miller. Never would happen in a galaxy. He said 5 minutes to get Miller and Hunter Goodman. Good luck, buddy.
I think we're done.
Oh, Fire Boone says coaching. Yankees are not as good coaching. John M says back in the bullpen. Let's see. Mr. Washington National, a million things are about to happen in the span of 10 minutes. Yeah, we're going to see a bunch of deals roll in here pretty late, probably. Interested to see what that looks like as they get reported. Red Sox, let's see. Connor, as a Bulls fan, would you trust Kirk Heinrich to play second over Jazz? Kirk Heinrich, holy fucking pole.
I trust Luke Longley right now, honestly. Okay. Give me Luke Longley, or even give me a little bit of vintage Steve Kerr at second base.
Who were the two white guys the Bulls had playing guard for a bit? It was Kirk Heinrich and someone else.
Oh, back in the late 2000s.
Yeah, I can't remember who the other guy was. But yeah, man.
Al Korver?
No, I don't think it was him. But the Cleveland Guardians are acquiring Nathaniel Lowe from the Reds. That's not a big deal there. Miami Marlins are acquiring Victor Vodnik from the Rockies. So we got a couple underlying deals sliding in here.
Dude, it totally was Cal Korver, by the way. It was Cal Korver and Kirk Heinrich.
There wasn't another guy? I feel like there was like a shooting guard and a point guard.
Those are two white shooting guards that were on the Bulls at the same time.
Well, Heinrich was the point guard, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it was Korver then.
Korver was kind of a spot shooter.
He's been on so many teams, I can't remember where the hell he's played. Nick
Lou
James
Aldang.
says that yes stat of Wells having a 280 average of 20 ribs was from his rookie year? What? No, I thought it was this year. Did I look at that shit wrong? I don't fucking know.
Julio Ramos.
Ben Gordon and Llewellyn Dang. Holy shit. Dunleavy. No, it wasn't Dunleavy. It wasn't Dunleavy. No. I'm thinking, dude, I played fantasy basketball for so many fucking years, dating back to like, the early years of humanity. So I can't fucking remember where these players all played. Guardians keep adding, man. That's pretty cool. Marlins are adding. Nothing else.
There
really.
aren't a ton of. What's the second biggest move that's happened outside of Skubal for the whole league? What's the second biggest move
in the whole?
What's the runner-up?
League?
Yeah, what's the second biggest move?
Probably. I mean,
not a lot of activity. Not a ton of action.
Is it Adley to Boston?
I guess. Right?
Former
is it Luis Garcia? I mean, it's everyone's like seeing these moves happen, but like, okay, everyone's getting in besides us. Did you want Nathaniel Lowe? Did you want Lowe?
No, that wasn't happening.
I guess it's Arias. Luis Arias.
We got 40 seconds to go here. Hassan is standing by, trying to figure out what the fuck is going to slide in here at the end of this deadline. I don't know. I think one of the bigger stories from the Yankees was no Jeffers, no Goodman, no bullpen ad really, no Arias, no catcher really at all. So they added Garcia, who is a great slugger against right-handed pitching. They're going to stand pat with the arms they got. And
the reality is this. One thing I want to say, because I'm not making excuses, and I'm upset as a fan right now. I don't think it's great that this is everything we did, but it bears laying out the fact that the value of existing major leaguers, given the specter of the potential lockout on the horizon, the value of these guys is nerfed historically relative to high-level prospects that are controllable beyond 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So when you consider the price that would be required to go all in on guys that have 1 or 2 years of control, or even 3 years of control, you're paying a premium, man. What's up?
Casey Mize to the Padres. That's a good one.
I was hoping it would be a Yankees trade, but okay.
Unfortunately not. Was told Yankees made no other trades beyond Garcia Jr. and Ramos. That's it. Sherman.
That's it. Ding, ding, ding.
Sherman. Wow.
That's the bell.
Wow.
Well, what's your initial reaction, Johnny?
Man. No, I'm pretty bummed we didn't add a catcher. Pretty bummed we didn't add another bullpen arm or two. Kind of bummed out to keep watching fucking Jazz at second. I am excited though for Lombard Jr. coming up to play short here soon, which I do think is going to happen. So I mean, that's kind of a silver lining that I'm excited about. That's not a trade deadline move, but I think this goes back to they really like their guys. They believe in what they have internally. They think they're good enough. They added a high slug bat and a platoon outfielder, which are a couple areas of need they were wanting, and we'll see if their judgment call is right. Obviously the fans, Twitter is on fire right now. We've seen how our comments have been this whole time. People are pissed off, but it's going to be who was more right, the fans or the front office.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of framing it. I mean, they didn't blink when it came to making a panicky move where you trade more than you want to give up. And maybe that ends up being the right call because of the lockout and the value of players that might not even play next year versus a guy like George Lombard or a Spencer Jones or LeGrand, which is what probably would have cost to get a guy to have a real impact. We added some guys, but there's no big splash. But at the same time, like you look around, like outside of Skubal, like it's a lot of moves like the ones the Yankees made. We just didn't get a catcher. We didn't add the way we thought we might to our bullpen, but we did get a little bit more thump in the offense. And I don't look around. I mean, it sucks when your rival makes a bigger splash than you. When you got Boston, who's 2.5 games back, filling the kind of needs we thought we needed to fill. That's not a good feeling. So we'll see. But you can't make a move based on that. You can't make a move just based on, oh, what if Boston does it? But it doesn't feel good when it does happen. That like when the actual thing breaks down like that, it's not good.
Yeah, I think my takeaway is the Rays got better, the Red Sox got better. We might be, it's debatable. On paper, I think obviously we're better than both of them. I believe. I sound like Cashman. I do believe in a lot of the guys we have on our team, but I also think we needed to improve several different areas of this team, and that wasn't done. That didn't happen. So, it's going to be us against the Rays and the Red Sox the rest of the way in an absolute bloodbath, and we're going to see if those additions by those two teams put themselves that much, further ahead of us, made it, that much more of a struggle in a head-to-head series. We'll see how this division plays out. The wild card is going to be absolutely insane. The Yankees need to win this division because if they have to, for whatever reason, go to Boston in some way, shape, or form, big problem. And then you go to 2027 with what? A lockout. Judge is another year older. Stanton, who the fuck knows what happens to him? Garrett Cole, another year older. There's a lot of uncertainty, honestly. I feel like the future is very uncertain, and I'm concerned that our two biggest rivals in the division got better while we kind of stood pat. So
we'll be curious to see when Adley plays for the Red Sox and how he is when he comes back because of the wrist thing. That, I think, will be the hinge point on which you judge whether the Yankees fumbled that or they were prudent. And as mad as we all are, and as valid as that may end up being, that anger towards the front office, towards this team, it really depends on which way that goes.
It's true.
So we'll see, man. There's a lot to find out, and right now the only thing left to be excited about is the call-ups, and as we get healthier, bumping some of those guys at the back end of our rotation into the bullpen and seeing what that can do for us in terms of shoring up that bullpen. So no help catcher.
Steak for breakfast says Yankees World Series odds up to plus 600 after the deadline close. Oh, man. I appreciate your comment, though, about this live being inherently better than the past and shit show on ESPN. I appreciate that, man. We were excited to do this show. We've had a phenomenal turnout. We appreciate all you guys being here. It's a situation where all of us are frustrated. All of us are very hopeful to see, some pretty dynamic ads at places of need for this team. It didn't happen. So we're all enjoying our copium together as we try to believe.
I'm serving it up, man. I'm trying to
serving up copium.
I'm like trying to think of ways to rationalize this, and as I'm saying it, I know I'm making everyone mad, and I'm getting mad listening to myself sometimes. Trying to understand why they wouldn't make more moves, but that's where we're at right now. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to root for our favorite team. And it feels like we're locked in a prison of having to deal with all this stuff. Because
and I said this the other day, and it's been a very cringe and cliche thing to continue to say. But Cole, Cam, and Max going into a playoff series, you got to feel good about that, right? I mean, that's not copium; that's just facts. We got a good group there. In terms of the lineup. Is Aaron Judge going to get enough time once he gets back to get into a rhythm offensively? That's going to remain to be seen. It's going to be, Judge already has the whole playoff thing floating around him anyways. Last year he had a clutch homer over the foul pole, and he showed some signs of coming out of that. So, I think that narrative is a little cooled off.
Yeah,
but
batting 500 in the postseason was a sign that he was coming out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, World Series run, here we go. Judge finally hit, and then they fell short in the ALDS. But if they can get by Tampa, if they can get by the Red Sox in the playoffs, if they can get by whoever else might pop up, the Guardians always seem to be there every year. Is Judge going to have enough time from the point where he comes back to, very competitive baseball to get his swing on track, to be a power hitter, to be a legitimate 2 or 3 hole hitter? It's going to be a huge ask. I'm not expecting him to. I think there's going to be a 2 to 4 week period where he's going to really be struggling to get his timing down.
For sure, for
And,
sure.
it's pitchers throw harder now than they have ever in history. So you can sit there in the high velocity machine under the stadium and get as many reps in as you can, but until you see a guy in here, snapping sliders off the outside corner and then blowing 102 on your fucking hands, you can't really replicate that in the cage. But there's a lot of question marks. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. A lot of question marks going forward. Our rivals got better, and it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be regardless of what happens in the next 2 months into the playoffs. It's going to be very fucking entertaining. There's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, fair. All right, well, hope everyone's really excited and has rainbows shooting out of their asses right now, because we certainly do.
It is. I'm interested to hear Cashman come out and talk about, what happened, because it's going to be a lot of not swimming in those waters type thing. We're not moving Lombard for anybody type thing.
We like what we have.
And I'm not shitting on them for not moving Lombard Jr. Because I would like to see him play, obviously. But if that's the route they go, which they did, he better be up after August 15th, and he better be playing shortstop going forward.
They're already talking about that on Yes, in terms
Are
of
they?
They're,
Okay.
That's part of the spin right now on the Yankees propaganda network. They are talking extensively about like when does that happen, not if. And so something to look forward to. Throwing his crumbs.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it, man. I think he's got a lot of tools. Obviously, he's gonna his first 2 or 3 weeks he's gonna struggle offensively probably, and then hopefully find it. But I cannot wait to watch him play defensive shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
The range, the arm, the instincts, the hands, all those different things on a day-to-day basis at the shortstop position is going to be an absolute treat. I can't wait to see him, range to his right, backhand, plan, fire, an absolute dart across that infield. Because watching Volpe's fucking arm, and Caballero's got a pretty decent arm, but man, Lombard Jr. has an absolute hose for an arm, absolute fucking cannon. Can't wait to watch some of that. And then we just got to hope the third base platoon pans out. We got to hope Austin Wells keeps hitting. We got to hope Jazz Chisholm figures it out here soon. Trent Grisham got to figure it out. What happens to Spencer Jones? I'm a
lot more confident that Lombard can come up and be a plus for us than I was even for when Jones got called up. And I was pretty excited for Jones. Yeah. But what we've seen with Jones, maybe what we see with Lombard, where he struggles at first. And to me, it's like the sooner the better. Just get him up here. We can certainly use him, and he could certainly use the development. So hopefully it's not a day later than than what they're saying the deadline is for the service time thing. We can get him up here as fast as possible.
And I don't fault them for doing the service time manipulation, because it's 12 days away.
I agree.
What's the major difference he's going to make between now and then, where you're going to give away a year of control over him?
Right. And it's not between him or Max Schumann. Like, you have legitimate. So you want about Volpe and Caballero?
He's playing defense.
We have legitimate options. It's not like we're in some kind of emergency situation where it's like Max Schumann playing short. Yeah. Right. That's when you might compromise on that. But when you have 11 days, 12 days to go, and you've got options that are not abysmal, then it makes sense to wait. So.
Well, the Cardinals are in town. Looking forward a little bit to the game we're going to watch here soon. This should be a sweep. They should not lose one of these games. The Cardinals just moved May. They just moved Jojo Romero. Newt Bar's gone. He wasn't a huge contributor anyways. They have some decent hitters up and down that lineup, but
Bar's gone.
This Newt Bar, the big Newt is gone.
They have no chance against us. They lost Newt Bar.
No, but moving Dustin May and Jojo Romero was pretty significant. So
for sure.
We're gonna
have a lot of we're gonna have an elite little group of pinch hitting options, especially when we get healthy. Like we can really mix and match with the best of them. So there's part of this where you say, okay, you can't start all these guys at the same time, but like because you have holes in the lineup, like it's really nice to have a guy like a Luis Garcia coming off the bench to pinch hit for, a Volpe, or to have someone like Spencer Jones coming off the bench in the pinch hit situation too, once he gets more confident. Paul Goldschmidt obviously coming in for someone like Austin Wells in the scenario, like a double switch kind of thing. I mean, we didn't hurt ourselves. We just didn't add a catcher that we needed, and we didn't do as much as we thought with the pitching. But I mean, there's a lot to like about our depth from a slugging perspective that we couldn't have said a week ago.
Yeah, and like we spoke about earlier, it's having to rely on Aaron Boone to push all the right buttons going forward.
Yeah.
It'd be him and shit. I forget the bench coach's name. Forgot his fucking name.
Brad Ausmus.
There you go, Ausmus. It's going to be him and Ausmus. Coming together, making sure, pressing the right buttons towards the bullpen and pitch hitting. But what part of the game is going to be the best time to insert some of these guys? If there's bases loaded in the 7th inning, do you do it then? If it's in the 5th inning, do you do it then? Like how do they choose the most impactful time to insert some of these guys to influence the end of this game? Do you just wait till the 9th inning and put them in as a last ditch effort? Do you, kind of sense that the game is hanging in the balance in the middle of the game, big situation. Yeah. So that kind of stuff is going to be a very touchy-feely, kind of judgment calls. Looking forward to seeing how some of these starters, Warren and Weathers, transition to the bullpen, because we know it's going to happen. Rodon's going to get his spot back. Clark Schmidt possibly. And Warren and Schmidt are two guys that have that good running kind of two-seamer kind of action on their fastball. Maybe they can keep the bullpen. Yeah, keep the ball down, get a ground balls, try to get a double play ball in a big moment. So that's something looking forward to. And LeGrand, once he gets healthy, how quickly do they kind of get him up there? He's going to be a guy who's going to be pumping 102. Not sure about his location. Sometimes there's a couple starts he's had, and not starts, but appearances he had in the minors where he got smacked around a little bit. So, the big leagues, guys don't miss mistakes. You're going to have to come in and be sharp. So something to look forward to there as well. But, all in all, I think that'll pretty much do it. So they got Sherman assessing the Yankees trade deadline moves here on MLB Network. I can't hear it, but he's giving them a fucking tongue lashing. That's another guy, Devers. Devers was a guy people were kind of talking about, but unless the Giants ate a bunch of money, from his deal, and you had an open DH role, it wasn't going to happen. But Luis Garcia Jr. against right-handed pitching is one of the best bats you could have gotten. So that'll be interesting. But once again, I want to thank everybody for chiming in and tuning in today. It was really fun talking to you guys in the group chat, kind of helping facilitate the conversation a little bit. See you take the temperature on how everyone was feeling about what was going on as we kind of keep an eye on the TV, Twitter, and what you guys were telling us. So we appreciate that a ton. By my count on this side, we had over 5,000 viewers. So very excited for that. We appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you for, making this a fun show, making this an entertaining time, and a kind of a boner killer of a deadline, I guess you can say, according to most people who don't seem too thrilled with what happened. But any last thoughts before we tune into this game here soon?
Yeah, I mean, it's just underwhelming, but I haven't abandoned all hope. Have you?
No,
still have
absolutely
hope on
not.
this season.
Nope. There's a lot. It's a long, ugly road to come before we figure out who's going to win this division, who's going to be the top of the wild card.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be a bloodbath. But it's going to, like I said earlier, it's going to be very entertaining regardless. So We've got our squad. They've made their moves. They got their squads. Dodgers, everyone figures they're going to probably face the Brewers in the NLCS and then figure out who's going to be in the World Series. So long way to go. A lot of baseball to play out. It's going to be fucking exciting. Hopefully Judge is back soon. Hopefully Stanton's back soon. Hopefully we get those pieces back, Bellinger.
And in the meantime, we got to rely on the power of love and friendship, baby.
The power of friendship never lets us down. It is the scrappy underdog Yankees versus the world.
We've been having that lately, man. 13 and
Don't you
7.
ever forget it. Don't you ever
Yes,
forget
sir.
it. But all right, guys, once again, thank you all for joining us today. Make sure to like this video, leave us a comment underneath the video, and subscribe to the channel before you leave. That would be very much appreciated. It's one of those things where we just hope the Yankees continue to plug along, win some baseball games. Hopefully Garcia adds some offense. Hopefully Ramos adds some much needed right-handed power against lefties as well. And then we see how this pitching holds up as we get some of our guys back. But we will see you next time. Until then, we'll be watching the Yanks today going forward, and we will let you know on Twitter when we'll be doing another show, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. But
Yes,
for
sir.
now, we are out of here. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Go Yanks.